What's up, guys? Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project, and you're listening to the Weekly Pour podcast.
Hey guys, it's Leather Leone, and you're listening to the Weekly Pour. Great metalheads, crazy music, because we all bleed metal. Ciao.
Hola, amigos. This is Billy Sheehan. You're listening to me right here and watching on the Weekly Pour podcast. Thank you.
Hey guys, this is John Corabi from, just about every band but ABBA, and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Turn it up.
I'm Logan, right?
Yes.
That's how all right, I'll go now. What's up, everybody? It's Logan from All the Pretty Things, and you're listening to TBT and Ace on the Weekly Pour podcast.
My name's Reggie, and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
It's time once again for the Weekly Pour, the show that knows everything about absolutely nothing. Here are your hosts, TBT and Ace.
That's us. And you can't see us, but now you can. I am TBT. That guy over there is Ace. And this gentleman in the middle is our special guest this week. Allow us to welcome author Kelly Cosgrove, who just recently decided to put pen to paper, write a 300-page book, and then see if people will read it. It is called A Ballad of Bison, and that is all I know about it. So as we go through everything this evening, we're going to have Kelly tell us about the book, how it got started, what it's about. It is not a pop-up book, so that's why I don't have it yet. I prefer pop-up books for whatever reason. Let's welcome the chat.
The illustrated version is coming.
The what?
The illustrated version is coming.
Oh, well, you should have told me that. I would have redone this whole intro.
Yeah, it's done with like crayons and stuff, so it's really neat.
Oh, see, I'm already there. Jumping into the chat, let's see who we got. We've got Natalie, of course, who is our moderator. We've got Lou. What's going on? He's jumped in early this week. It looks like we've got Shannon, and there's a few more jumping in. Be sure when you guys jump in to hit that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe as well. So, Ace, you are a lot more familiar with Kelly than I am, so I'm going to let you run this and get your questions answered because I've got some that are more related to pop-up and crayons. So we'll get all the smart stuff out of the way now, and then we'll go to mine.
Okay, we can do that. So, Kelly, you wrote a book.
Oh, that's good job.
I've been told.
So tell us about your book, A Ballad of Bison, which to me, when you first hear that title, might imply it's about the prairie and the range in the 1870s. What is A Ballad of Bison? Tell me about it.
Before you do that, I was thinking it was more along the lines of a new track from the upcoming LA Guns release. Instead of A Ballad of Jane, it was going to be A Ballad of Bison.
Because Jane got older.
Right, and now she's hunting in the zombie apocalypse to save her family.
Yeah,
I guess I am way off.
You're way off, but there's bison left.
I'm going to shut my microphone off.
Yeah, good for Jane, man. That's awesome for her.
See?
Really come a long way. So Ballad of Bison is a book that I wrote. It's my very first one, my debut book. I follow a high school football team from Texas whose team mascot is the Bison. And essentially I kind of set it up to where this team is essentially poised at a Texas State championship run. And there's some internal issues going on, but it doesn't really, it comes to a head towards the middle of the book when a major tragedy kind of strikes the team and the community at large. So kind of, I don't want to spoil anything, but kind of just the rest of the book then is kind of how the community kind of moves past this tragedy while at the same time trying to live up to their potential that they've set up at the kind of the middle of the season or beginning of the season rather. Kind of going on from there. That's kind of the good and short of it without spoiling anything.
Right, and as any good writer, you have characters in this book that also have some some personal issues or personal tragedies they're running from that correlate, I guess, with the overall plot of this story, where not just the town, but maybe an individual is trying to overcome. So you have a high school player in here. I can't remember his name, but he comes to town as a transfer to this team. Am I right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
Ryland is his name.
Ryland. And he plays an integral role in this story, correct?
He does, and yeah, like you mentioned, he's from out of town. He kind of moves there, and it's under some pretty tragic circumstances himself. He's kind of facing his own demons there in that sense, and he's kind of there just to kind of do something. Like he doesn't really expect to have a major role, and he's kind of okay with that. And then once the big tragedy strikes, he's kind of thrust into this major role, and kind of struggles with that, kind of going forward as well.
So basically, you're telling the classic hero's journey in a story form set in a modern high school scene.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put it that way, and I try to focus on the personal growth of a lot of players, including Ryland. I think Ryland goes through probably the most growth out of my characters. Um, but my one thing I wanted to focus on was having unique characters that people could relate to and people could read and see grow as the book progresses.
So would you consider this a obviously from what I'm understanding, it's definitely not a comedy. Is this a drama?
Yeah, in a sense, I would say. I try to throw in some comedy in there, like Jenningston, which is the town that it takes place in. It's a small town, so I try to bring to life some of the quirkiness of that small towns like to bring and whatnot.
Yeah, I
But
think we're all
I would
familiar
definitely
with
say
that.
Right.
yes, and hopefully readers can relate to as well. But yeah, I think overall it most certainly is a drama.
Okay, so why? Why write a book?
So I've been interested in writing since I was a little kid. I've always liked books. I've always liked stories in general. Like I'm a big video game fan. I like story-based video games a lot. Um, I remember my earliest memory of like writing was when I was a little kid, maybe like 6 or 7. There was a video game me and my mom used to play Crash Bandicoot a lot. And I remember taking like printer paper from my parents' living room, bringing it to my room and drawing like a Crash Bandicoot comic almost. Now, I am an atrocious artist. I think if I were to draw that same comic today, it would look very similar.
Fair enough.
But I guess writing and storytelling has always been an interest to me.
So kind of walk us through the process of you coming up with this. I guess with this story, I mean, obviously you could have wrote about anything, but you've decided to go, with this Texas high school and go into, some tragedy that befalls them. I mean, what led you to like this specific story?
Yeah, and thinking on it, it's kind of interesting because I played football once in 5th grade, and that was it. And I
That
was
is a
not good,
lasting
which is
memory, obviously.
indeed,
And
indeed.
how that
I was a soccer player for most of my life, and I played a lot of baseball too as a kid. But first of all, I've always been a huge football fan. I'm a huge NFL fan for the most part. But I think what really got the gears turning with this story in particular was probably the TV show Friday Night Lights. I really liked that TV show a lot. It led me to read the actual book, which that book is probably one of my favorite books that I've ever read.
it's a very good book. I read.
And watching that TV show, reading that book, that really got some gears turning in my head. And I really like I really like the stories they kind of laid out, the characters they laid out there. And even though obviously I'm not a football player myself, I still belonged to teams, and I really like telling stories kind of through teams, kind of that brotherhood that exists in team sports like that. Um, so that's kind of where that got started for the most part.
Right, and I think setting a story like this in a high school setting probably leads itself to have a diverse group of characters and there's stories that you can tell. I mean, you have your high school groups, your cliques, your coach, your parents. I mean, you can go in a million different directions, I'm sure, couldn't you?
Yeah, I follow a few main characters that are on the team, that players. I follow the aunt of one of the players and kind of like her role and everything. I follow the head coach in that role as well. Um, so yeah, there's a little something for everything when it comes to what surrounds a team there.
Who are you aiming this for? What's your target audience?
So I started out kind of targeting it as a young adult audience, but I think as the story went on, it got pretty mature for the most part, and also got pretty long. It's about 350 pages on Amazon right now, which literary agents will tell you that's way too long for a young adult novel. So it started out as young adult, but kind of moved towards like just a classic adult book there. But I feel like high schoolers can also enjoy it if they are willing to kind of sit down and read that.
You really think that's too long? They say that?
See, like I didn't think so either. But when I was hunting for literary agents, which I was unsuccessful in that, which is common. But a few of them told me that this book would be way too long for a young adult novel. They're looking for 100,000 words max, but preferably lower.
TBT, does little TBT read?
Sure.
Well, okay.
I'm gonna say not regularly, just because of her daily life of guns and handcuffs.
Well, for instance, prior to handcuffs and guns.
Yes.
Okay. She probably could plow through a book, couldn't she?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
More of my money was spent on Amazon getting books delivered than anything there. Probably the last year that she lived at the house.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'd worry so much about the length. I think the length is fine. Maybe male teenage readers might not want to read one that long. Girls have no problem. Give them 1,000 pages. They'll finish.
Yeah, it's not about the length. It's about how it reads.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife can read 2 or 3 books in a day if you let her. Yeah, I don't get that about it at all.
I mean, what in the world does she do all day? I mean,
yeah, she had all the time on her hands. She could probably read 5 or 6 if she wanted to. But I mean, when I was in high school, like page length didn't really bother me that much either. Like I was a big fan of the Song of Ice and Fire books, which became Game of Thrones, the TV show. So like I know plenty of like teenagers that do not mind longer books at all, as long as they can be engaged with them at some point. And so I feel like definitely if it's something that interests any sort of teenager out there, I'd be more than happy to hear if they read it or not.
now, do you have any literary inspirations? You mentioned the Game of Thrones series. Do you read other books like that? Do you have other authors that you kind of admire or emulate?
I like a lot of so you bring up Song of Ice and Fire. When it comes to fantasy, I'm more into like the mainstream fantasy, the Lord of the Rings, the C.S. Lewis's. I like those a lot. Well, if I'm talking about favorite author overall, though, it's got to be Lee Child. At the end of the day, who writes the Jack Reacher novels, which is funny because that's like nothing like how I write, and that's nothing like what this book is about. But I can eat those up. I've read one Jack Reacher novel written by Lee Child that I didn't really particularly like, and even then, it's like I still enjoyed it to some degree. So I have to say, just when it comes to pure enjoyability, Lee Child all the way.
Yeah, I love Lee Child. He's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, I love Stan Lee.
Yeah, he's excellent as well too.
So how did the publishing thing go? Like, did you already have something lined up with somebody, or was it kind of just throwing it out there to like a dozen different people to see who grabbed on?
Oh yeah. So first thing I tried was I tried to find a literary agent, which there are a million out there, and they all live in New York City apparently. Um, and you can usually go to their websites, and like different agents will tell you like what they like, what they're looking for. So I'm obviously not going to send my book to a literary agent that wants like a pure romance novel or something like that. Um, so I tried that route. I just took a blunderbuss and sent my query letter and my synopsis out to like as many people as I could. I didn't really get anyone to bite, which partially I was expecting. Like I read a statistic like only 1% of authors are actually able to land a literary agent. It's difficult, especially if you're not an established name and also like not like a tremendous writer that just automatically jumps off the page. So when I when I kind of failed at that, I guess my next step was self-publishing. Self-publishing is pretty nice. You just find a company and they can offer some editing and marketing services. For the most part, I am broke, so I couldn't really afford any traditional self-publisher. Amazon and Barnes and Noble will self-publish books. However, you have to pay extra for any of the marketing or editing. Um, so that's kind of the route I went. So my hope right now is that maybe this helps get my name established in some way. Maybe I'm able to put some money back for a more traditional self-publishing role, or maybe I can take the criticisms, apply it to a next novel, and perhaps get a literary agent to kind of bite from there. And then if that doesn't work, just rinse and repeat, I guess, is kind of my plan going forward.
So this is your way of saying that this is not going to be your only novel.
Oh, one of the things that like, so this took me about 4 years to write. Um, I'm rather busy. I'm a pretty busy guy, like job, kids, wife, everything. You guys know how it is. Um, but one of the things that like really drove me to actually finish the book is that I got like 4 or 5 different stories in my head right now that I'm constantly thinking about that I want to put to paper.
Are you writing all of those at the same time so you don't lose ideas?
No, not necessarily. I'm trying to take it one step at a time. I've tried before to like bounce from project to project to project, and it just wasn't efficient for me at all. So I'm trying to like be as less ADHD as I can and try my best to kind of just focus in on one project at a time there.
Do you have any plans to make this an audio book as well? Because I know that's kind of like one of the big popular things now is people downloading audio books.
Yeah, I mean, I have looked into that, not terribly hard, but I feel like if the demand is there, then I would most certainly try to provide it.
Yeah, I don't really know how it still is can be called a book if you're not reading it and you're just listening. It'd be like story time. Story time
Exactly
with Kelly.
with your first grade teacher on the carpet, crisscross applesauce. It's great time.
Yeah.
And then you get your pictures and your pop-ups and everything.
See, and the crayons and all that. You drew me back in. Drew me back in real
Exactly.
easy. Like
Does Amazon offer something like that?
pop-ups and
Or
crayons?
no,
Oh.
a service to transcribe into audio. They would have to pay a talent, but I wonder if they have that option.
I honestly don't know. That's something I would have to research. But I've seen other companies be able to provide that, like freelance companies.
You wouldn't necessarily have to have talent to do it because I know there's a lot of authors that actually go in and they do their own book.
Yeah,
They'll
and I
do
like I like it when an author does their own audiobook because they're the ones that wrote the story in the first place. I want to be able to hear their voice if I'm going to be listening to the book. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
because you're gonna know where to put the affliction on, certain things that are said or, how you want this person to have an accent and, certain syllables that, you want to put a twist or a twang on, so yeah.
hmm Yeah, I mean, books are definitely read a little differently than the author intends, I guess.
Kind of like
But
when
I
books
feel
are
I feel
made
like
into movies. You make a book into
what?
a movie, it's never what the author intends either.
No, but I feel like I think they just paid a nice author a nice big fat check, and they say, okay, go do what you want, I guess.
Well,
Let me.
everybody in the chat is excited about it too, and now that we're talking about an audiobook, which I am ashamed that I brought up, now we've got people saying you got to do it in an Australian accent, and then there's a British accent, and yes, Lou, I said the word affliction. It's my big word of the day.
I said 3 before that.
Hey,
Big
I wrote
words.
them down.
Okay. Let me
I
tell you
haven't
about
said any, so.
you emailed these agents and publishers and got, if you got a response, you would have got it relatively quick. Let me tell you about the old days where you had to write the letter on a typewriter.
Then you
And,
never mind.
yeah, you write it on a typewriter, and then you stick it in the mailbox, and then you wait for the mailman to come and get it. And when he picks it up,
Man, what's mail?
weeks later, you have to wait like 3 weeks for some jerk in New York to tell you no. 3 weeks you wait.
Well, and the crazy thing is, there's still agents out there that have been like active since like the 70s that still prefer that method. Like if you go on their websites, and those websites are never all that great. They kind of just got grumpy from people telling them like, "Hey, you need a website." And it's like, "Hey, you're fine. You still have to mail me a letter, though." So like, I was kind of surprised that there's still a handful of agents out there that still prefer the snail mail method.
How are rejection letters? I mean, are they just like, hey, sorry, it's a great story, but it just doesn't fit what we're looking at, or they just write you back in big red bold? No.
Yeah, I mean, I had one send me just a picture of a giant middle finger. No, that
Nice.
didn't happen. Um,
Nice. That's something that we would do.
no, actually, like all the rejection emails, like I got, where I never got like upset at one or mad at one. It's just like, hey, we read through the work. We like, there's something there. It's just not what we're looking for at this time, or something like that. Or like I had someone tell me like it didn't jump off the page as like I would want to, and some even would even like offer me a quick little criticism, which was really neat. Like because I didn't ask for that, but they still provided that. But no, I never got like a letter where I was just like, oh man, F this guy. I'm gonna go on Yelp or whatever, give him 1 star.
Yeah. So
Like,
nobody sent a rejection letter that just said stop writing.
yeah, no,
Okay.
no one
That's
sent me that
important.
like you suck.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time or anything
Don't
like that.
sharpen
No.
your pencil. Throw away your pens.
I believe if you got a response with a criticism of some sort, that would be constructive enough, something you could learn from. That would be all right.
And it
You know,
has been, and that was a cool experience. Because, like I said, I didn't ask for that because usually you usually pay for that kind of advice. But a quick little criticism here, quick little criticism here. It was really cool. I really appreciated it.
Has your wife read it?
She hasn't, and I keep
Okay, never mind.
trying her
Moving on.
to.
Next question.
I kept trying her to, but she keeps telling me like I'm not reading until it's on Kindle. I'm like, sorry. I'm like, oh,
Oh
okay,
yeah,
well, I
because
guess
you can probably get it free.
I better get
hey,
it on Kindle then.
it's fine. I know how that feels.
Oh yeah, because Ace, you have a book too, right?
Yeah, I have 2 out. One is so rare you'll never see it and never get it, but I have one out currently. So,
And your wife's not read yours.
no, she has it downloaded though.
Wow, it's almost like y'all could
I've
be related. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
I've
nuts.
read it.
So there
Thank you.
you go.
What'd you
See,
think?
I've read it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. If you don't know, it's Halos of the Sun. Um, it's a nice, cool little cop drug busting drama. Lots of action, lots of really cool characters. I thought the story progressed well and flowed nice. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I read it in like just a few days, maybe not even a week.
There you go.
see, look,
What do
you
you think?
just got your book promoted by the
I did.
guy who's on here, whose book we're supposed to be promoting. But I can at
We share
least do
love around
this.
here.
I can do this for him. See,
Right.
There
I
you
can
go.
put up the cover of his. And not just that, I can get rid of it, and we're also going to throw up the back part of it. So this is a little synopsis about it. For those that can't see this, that are actually listening, I'm going to read this to you. What? Yeah, I remembered. Jerkface. Is it Jenningston?
Jenningston, yes.
Okay, good. So Jenningston is a sleepy Texas town that is only known for the high expectations that the citizenry places on a local high school football team. Those expectations are warranted as the team seems poised to make a run at the Texas State Championship. Midway through the season, however, tragedy strikes the team. The players, coaches, and community must now navigate through these turbulent times while also finding the resolve to win. Dun dun dun. What's a little
There
bit
you
more
go.
important is up here at the top where we get a little bit info about you, which we're going to dive into as well. Kelly Cosgrove was born and raised in southern Indiana, where he currently lives with his wife and 2 children. Kelly attended the University of Indianapolis, where he earned a bachelor's degree in history and education. And you are currently teaching social studies at a middle school, correct?
That is correct. That's my day job.
Wow. So do the kids know that you're now a published author as well?
No, I didn't really advertise it to them.
They wouldn't
For the
read it
most
anyway.
part. Yeah, probably not. Some would maybe, but not all. Most of them would.
I commend
That's
you.
all right. I love them anyway.
You're teaching middle school, right? That's what we said. I commend you for that. That takes some strong metal.
Correct.
No way.
And quick reflexes.
That's the reaction I get from a lot of people. I feel like.
Was
I love
middle
it, though.
school
I
your
think it's a
choice
fun
to
age.
teach?
Well, my degree is in secondary ed. My license is from 5th to 12th grade. So I was honestly good for whatever I was able to get for the most part.
Sure.
I like the age. I think watching the kids awkwardly try to figure out how life works, because they haven't until that point. I think it's kind of amusing for the most part. And when it comes to middle school, I feel like middle school you're mainly teaching skills, like how to be organized, how to actually like actively read nonfiction and whatnot. So I teach social studies. 7th grade is like Eastern Hemisphere history. They do that almost all over again freshman year, and there's a reason. It's mainly because they don't really remember it. But so the hope is that I can, develop skills like that I can take with them later in life, and hopefully be a lifelong
Sorry,
learner
we're
at
just
that
trying to
point.
figure out this whole hemisphere thing.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we were in school. I got it. I know where
So you
it's
got the
at.
Tri Meridian runs through England there.
Yeah.
East of that line's Eastern Hemisphere. West of that line's Western Hemisphere. There we go. That is Unit 1 in 7th grade.
We just passed the 7th grade.
I don't remember
Proud of
7th.
you. Good job.
So see, we're fine. Well, somebody in the chat, Natalie, actually said that you should assign someone in class to do a book report on your book.
There you go.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time. I missed that.
It's your Wi-Fi. Natalie in the chat said that you need to assign your book to somebody to do a book report on.
Oh, I think
there we go. That would be, force them to read it. That'll be the trick.
Well, you never have to tell them that it was your book. You just say, "Hey, here's a book. Read it and do a report."
Exactly. There we go. And they'll never know.
I think we're starting to lag a little bit, but that's okay. That won't stop us. We'll keep going.
A little bit, yeah.
All
right.
So with another book coming at some point, how long do you expect it'll be before you have another one out? Granted, you just put this one out there and are just going on this, but what is your hope?
My hope is hopefully within a year and a half, maybe. That's kind of my hope. I already started laying out characters for my next book, kind of going forward, trying to get the ball moving on that. I usually outline my stories mainly because that kind of forces me to write. So if I hit a roadblock, I can always refer to an outline to kind of continue forward. So I'm hoping like year and a half. That's kind of my plan.
Okay, that's decent. And just Ace, so you know, that we've got somebody in the chat who's also asking that your face be blurred to enhance the viewing experience.
Blur my face.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about, but somebody would rather not have your face in there.
Yeah, you're Ace.
I don't know what's going on.
No Ace love this week.
Apparently not. I mean, and apparently I'm ignoring Kathy, but I don't know how that's happening either. She must have said something. Oh, she did. She said that she has your first book.
She does. She has a signed copy.
Wow.
Of my first book sitting on her shelf. And I'm telling you, that's one of about 12 in existence. So, when I die, that might be valuable.
Interesting.
For like $10.
$10. That's all right.
That's how we'll bury you. We'll sell the rest of your books and bury you that way.
Exactly. So you got it covered. So your wife's not read your book. Your students don't know about it. Did you have somebody to bounce your stuff off of once you were done?
Ace actually helped me out a lot with kind of editing, and I think he gave me a really good unbiased view about it there. Saw a lot of things that I didn't really see. So it's important, I think, for an author to have somebody like that where
for sure
they're going to give you their honest opinion on something, because you're not going to see everything that's wrong with something. It's easy to look at your own work through rose-colored glasses that way.
Oh, most definitely. I'm actually surprised that you said Ace did that well. I mean, that's impressive to me. I may have to read his book now too. I might have to read both of them, and neither one of them are pop-up or with crayons. But now I have 2 books to add to my collection and read.
Yeah, my first one is about 60 pages, so you can handle that.
Oh yeah, I can handle that too.
That's French for small.
A novella.
That's right. Like on some kind of like Interview with a Vampire shit now. I don't know.
Le novella.
Yeah, whatever. I don't even know what that means. So what are your other hobbies outside of writing and raising children?
Oh man, obviously I'm a giant sports fan, big NFL fan. I like big soccer fan, professional soccer. I like professional wrestling a whole heck of a lot. In fact, the next book I want to write revolves around a professional wrestler, fictional.
I like it already.
Kind of coming out. So there's some breaking news for your viewers there. Other than that, though, I like I said, video games, fun times. I like being outside a lot when I can, for the most part.
Are you a Colts fan?
Nothing really. Sorry, go ahead. I am indeed a Colts fan. I was lucky enough to grow up during the Peyton Manning era, and I've been disappointed since.
That's fair.
Haven't we all? Well, you probably didn't have, I don't know if you had a chance or not to watch any of the combine, but I'm telling you, I want this Anthony Richardson kid. That guy can
I
fling
watched some clips from the combine. I wonder. I really like Will Levis a lot, the Kentucky quarterback. I like the size. I like the arm. Anthony Richardson, I like as well. I don't know if there is justifying a number 4 pick on him, but because the market for quarterbacks is just so insane right now, you might have to. At that point, and I feel like Indianapolis has to.
I know. I read they weren't impressed at all, and now they're just going to go with Nick Foles for the rest of the year. Next season, it's all Nick Foles.
Yeah,
You know,
Saint Nick, baby. Let's win.
or we're going to sign who's old right now. We can sign. And what's Ben Roethlisberger doing? We can
Yeah,
sign him.
call him up. And Derek Carr's in New Orleans, so he's not out there anymore.
He's not old.
Heck,
I think
Aaron
Richardson's
Rodgers
going to
might
go
need a new
top
team. Who
5.
knows?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The size. What is he? 6'4", 240,
Yeah.
and runs a
He's big.
4.4.
Well, not just that. I mean, he's a Florida quarterback.
Yeah.
I would take a Florida quarterback over a Kentucky quarterback any day.
I am a Florida fan, and I have been since college. And their quarterbacks do not always do well in the NFL.
No.
That doesn't mean.
Hey, Rex Grossman got to a Super Bowl.
That's true.
Super Bowl right there.
Well, you know, and no one can take that away from Rex Grossman.
Exactly.
No one can take that away from him.
Except for Rex.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he was very, very up and down, bipolar as a quarterback, but damn it, he got there. And thank God he sucked against us.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Bears, I've read where there's not a single quarterback for the Bears to ever throw for over 4,000 yards in a season, and that blew my mind.
Oh, I totally believe it. Jim
Because
McMahon.
you'd think that Jim McMahon.
No, he gets a lot of credit for being really, really tough and gritty and a winner and that sort of thing. He was not someone that was going to fling. He was not like that.
Yeah, and he had that cocky attitude that was really fun to watch play. His little. Not that I got to watch him. He's a little before my time, but
just a little.
So to be fair, another Florida quarterback that has done very well in the NFL is Cam Newton.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, he was at Florida before he left and went to LSU.
Well, he left, under strange circumstances.
Sure.
He went to Auburn.
Oh, that's right. One of those other SEC teams.
Yes, won the Heisman.
So you talked about you're a big fan of professional wrestling. What is your current thoughts right now on the Bloodline storyline?
I think it's been so much fun. I have no idea where it's going for the most part. I think since Triple H has taken over creative for WWE, the product has jumped leaps and bounds in quality. Because there was a time, I think there was a few years there where I think AEW was the best wrestling show on TV. I haven't even watched AEW in a while, really, since Triple H took over. They turned Sami Zayn into a superstar. I never saw that one coming.
Never thought that would happen.
The Usos are one of the best tag teams around at the moment, right now in time. They made Roman Reigns a significant character, which, to be fair, he was before the Triple H takeover with the Tribal Chief character. I love that. I desperately want to see Cody Rhodes win at WrestleMania, though. I think
he has to, doesn't he?
I don't know who else it would be unless you want to wait until Randy Orton returns from back surgery. Like, why would you want to wait that long? Or I'm reading online where a lot of people want Jey Uso to come and win it from Roman Reigns now. And I don't know about that at all.
Here's something I thought about recently, though. If Cody Rhodes wins at WrestleMania and we end the reign of the Tribal Chief, what do you do with Roman next? I mean, does it hurt him?
He leaves.
Forever?
No,
yeah,
he leaves.
I think he goes away for a few months.
Yeah, he was he redid his contract, I want to say last year, to where he can pretty much pull a Brock Lesnar and do his own schedule. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you got to figure this dude's been champion for almost 2 years, nonstop. Mm-hmm. And if he loses and he leaves the scene, now it's going to be a big chunk of the storyline that will end up leaving. But the only way to save that is if he were to come back months later as a face and, start up something else. But I think that would absolutely be the end of the storyline. I tell you what, I'd love to see Rikishi show up at WrestleMania because he is the father of the Usos.
Right.
He shows up because there was all this talk about The Rock coming back and he was going to set the bloodline straight and blah blah blah. Have Rikishi do it. Have him interfere with the match. Roman Reigns retains the belts, and this continues the feud between him and Cody Rhodes, and can continue the storyline of the bloodline.
Okay, I like that, but
Like the fancy
then you're
booking.
stealing that big stage away from Cody because I think
So
he's got to. Well, he's got to
they
win
did the
it.
same thing to Sting years ago when he fought Triple H. Sting should have won that match.
No, they did the same thing to Lex Luger
Yep.
versus
I think it should have been.
Yokozuna. Did the same thing. He
Yeah.
didn't win the title, and he was
Well,
supposed
that
to.
match should have been Sting versus Undertaker anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now my biggest complaint right now with any of the storylines is Bray Wyatt. This whole Bray Wyatt thing, I
Oh
know
my
they've given
gosh.
Bray creative control of what he's doing, but I don't see him making the decision to go after Lashley because I just to me this just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's odd.
My opinion of Bray Wyatt since his return started like way up here, and it just came crashing down week after week because I just have no idea what's going on during the feud with LA Knight. LA Knight, I think, was the
LA
star of
Knight.
that feud.
Yep,
Oh
totally.
my gosh, LA Knight is a star in the future anyway. But
Yeah.
now he's feuding with Bobby Lashley. I have no idea what's going on there.
Yeah.
Well, and we got Uncle Howdy
I
running around, and we don't even know who that is.
whoever that is, yeah, he got pummeled by Lashley on SmackDown last week.
Well, yeah, but
Right.
you turn the
So I
lights
feel
off
like
and he
the
disappears.
Right, you just turn the lights off.
Yeah, I've tried that. It doesn't work.
teleportation.
It's like, nope, still there.
Yeah, well, do we call it teleportation? I mean, we're right there.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Just-
we can. It's to me. I mean, it's the same thing that they're doing right now with Brock Lesnar, having Brock against Omos. Why? That's just dumb.
I don't know anyone that's excited for that match. I don't know. Omos has a cool story, like coming from Nigeria and making it over here, but at the end of the day, he's just not somebody I want to see on my television screen.
No, they're treating him the same way, in my opinion, the same way they did with the Big Show when he actually debuted in WCW. He's this big monster, but he's not allowed to do anything. Why isn't he
Mhm.
going against? Why isn't he going after Roman?
No kidding. No kidding. And Lesnar needs people that are smaller than him that can bump all over him. Those are the best opponents for some of those big guys. Big guy versus big guy. We had, what was it, Goldberg versus Lesnar a couple times, more than once. And
Yeah.
sometimes they're okay, and other times they are atrocious.
Right.
You need someone that can bump around. Like
Yeah,
Mysterio.
exactly. It makes me excited to know that you're gonna, one of your next stories may include this whole idea of professional wrestling with your characters, because I think that's an awesome way to go. Because obviously we're not the the '90s with the war between WWE and WCW, but wrestling in itself, I think, has made so much of a comeback in the past year
Yes.
that I think that's an awesome idea to throw that out there as a part of a storyline for your book.
Well, think of how many professional wrestling fictional novels have you seen or ever read?
Quite a few, but they were all wrote by Mick Foley.
Okay.
I've never read one.
But fictional.
Right.
Fictional novels. They're not out there much. So that's a good niche market. I think.
Yeah.
And sometimes with wrestling, it's the behind the scenes stuff that's the most interesting stuff.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to tackle for the most part, trying to tackle that and the balance between what happens behind the curtain, what happens in the ring, how they intertwine with each other. Sometimes that's usually the most fun part of the sport. It's what makes the sport so dang interesting.
Yeah, back when Ace and I were in our teens, we would get behind the music, on VH1 where it was like, oh crap, now we get to see what's going on with our favorite band. And what do you mean they don't get along? What do you
Right.
mean
They're all friends.
they're yeah, what's up with that? So that whole thing is still intriguing. It's anything that's a behind the scenes look, kind of like Hard Knocks with the NFL. Everybody gets a chance to see what's going on behind the scenes, and that's not a normal part of everyday life, and people just jump on that like white on rice.
Yeah.
Well, and you
Now,
bring up music and bands and kind of behind the scenes with bands. I feel like there's a lot of overlap with like how musicians act behind the scenes and how wrestlers act behind the scenes. They're on a similar travel schedule. They're working their tails off in different time zones throughout the week. And then that brings on the drugs, the alcohol, the scandal. There's a lot of overlap there.
So
right.
speaking of music, what do you listen to?
Shoot, I like all sorts of rock, anywhere between 80s, 90s, butt rock from the early 2000s.
For those who don't know what butt rock is, that would be bands such as Puddle of Mud, Hinder, uh, those types of bands. That Theory of a Dead Man is a good butt rock band.
Yeah,
So,
so the term butt rock comes from the fact that all those rock radio stations, they would always be like, here we are, 98.3, The River, here, nothing but hard rock on this radio station. Nothing but rock, music that makes you rock hard. Here's Nickelback, followed by POD, and at the top of the hour, we got an exclusive interview with Miles Kennedy. Nothing but hard rock.
well, that's a
I've
hell
also
of a
heard it
DJ name
called
right there.
Yeah, followed by Puddle of Mud.
practicing. No, I've also heard it called divorced dad rock.
Oh,
There's like a
that's
lot
actually
of
a
guys.
pretty good one.
I've heard dad rock.
There's a lot of guys. Just dad rock. Yeah, maybe that maybe. I was. I don't really call it divorced dad rock. I was blessed enough to grow up in a home where my parents loved each other and supported us.
Yeah, I come from a
Um,
broken home. Mine are all divorced.
yeah,
And my mom's
but
probably listening
people.
going, we are not.
If she made it home by now.
Yeah, no kidding. So we had a, a crash over by one of the bridges here in where we live, and it's been backed up for like 3 or 4 hours. And then
And
my
double.
mom actually shows up here at the house. She showed up to deliver a carrot cake roll. Now, if you've ever had a
I love
pumpkin
that.
roll,
I
this
love
is
that.
not a pumpkin roll. This is a carrot cake roll. And it wasn't for me. She brought it for the wife, and I'm like, "Why are you here?" And she's like, "I got to deliver it because I figure if you want it, I better bring it." And I was like, "Well, that's on the wife because I didn't want it." And then I asked her if she was going to be able to make it home because of the crash, and she said, "Yeah, it's really backed up." Well, she texted me right before we went live, so we're talking, maybe about an hour and a half ago, and she said it was backed up to or the recycling center, which would probably be a mile.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's 3 hours after the actual crash. So I'm hoping she actually made it home. She's not text to say that she had. She could be passed out on the side of the road waiting. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just starting to want statistics to find out if where we live is statistically higher in crash rates than other places because it's insane.
It is yes, if you count the last 2 weeks.
Oh gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not little fender benders. I mean, we
No.
demolish semis and run them over guardrails.
Hey, you know what the old saying is? You either go big or you go home.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and that's how they all sound. Oh, look, my wife just jumped in the text and said she made it home. So I guess that's good because I text her, and she doesn't even respond. Probably because she's
That's
listening.
no. It's because you dismissed her gift.
It wasn't for me.
You blew it off.
I don't want it.
You're her son.
But she made it for the wife. She didn't make it for me.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we're that far into this breakdown of your relationship with your mother that she don't even come to bring gifts for you.
She brought me chili when it was cold.
Okay.
That counts.
Yeah.
No, it's the carrot cake roll. My wife's like infatuated with carrot cake.
Well, why in a roll? Why didn't you make a carrot cake?
Because this carrot cake roll is kind of badass. Like if I had it here, I would show it to you, but it's just instead of I don't know because nobody wants a carrot cake anymore. It's like why don't people eat ice cream? No, now they have to have a blizzard.
No, I eat ice cream by candlelight.
I know you do. We've got footage up on the side of you having a date with your ice cream.
I had ice cream at lunch
Today?
today.
It's 50 some degrees
Is
out.
that something to brag about?
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
A mutual friend of ours, TBT, we went to eat. We went to Wendy's, and he ordered a large frosty, and they ended up giving him 2 smalls. And I said, "You don't need that," and he agreed.
But the large would have been fine.
Right, because I'm not eating after him or nothing. I'm
Oh
not dipping
no.
in
By
that.
golly, you get 2 smalls. That's just not happening.
That 2 smalls, we can split that.
Kelly's sitting here going, "What have I gotten myself into?" We were talking about my book, and now you guys are going on about freaking ice cream.
Well, that's the
Yeah,
way
I got some
this
ice
show
cream in the
goes.
freezer. I'm about to go break out right now.
Just do it live
Listen,
while we're here, because that'll make Ace jealous. He'll get the candle lights out and start eating ice cream himself.
Especially if it's coffee.
Listen, the pint of great value ice cream at Walmart that's like $1. That's good enough for me. I'm a cheap date.
Absolutely. So, are we gonna continue talking about the stupid carrot cake roll? Or are we done with that? Can we move on?
No, we're done. We can move on.
Okay.
Man, that went quick from talking about music to that.
Well, they coincide.
When does the new Mandalorian episode come out?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. I won't watch it, obviously, because
I know.
Kelly might. He might be a fan of the Mandalorian or anything that Disney puts out Star Wars related. Probably could talk.
I
about
watched
that.
the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, amazing!
Through. I liked it a lot. I really did. I've tried to watch Mandalorian. It's not that I didn't dislike Mandalorian. I did like it. I struggle to finish TV shows. I get so wrapped up in the sports, I sometimes forget. Like, I watched like the first three episodes of Peaky Blinders like 2 months ago, and I liked it. I liked what I watched. Just haven't picked it back up. I started Jack Ryan. The new season came out. Watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes of that. It's been really good so far. Haven't picked it back up. There's no reason for it other than I just suck at committing to a TV show.
Well, not just that, but there's so much out there to try to put on your list to watch.
Yeah.
Just
There's
so much.
He mentioned Jack Ryan. I am on my second round of starting the first season because I do the same thing. I love it. I'm like, this is a great show. And then I just remembered, hey, I haven't watched that in 3 weeks.
We have an entire page on this chat going about eating freaking ice cream.
Kathy likes ice cream. I know that.
Well, Natalie made the first announcement that Ace only eats ice cream by candlelight. I'm sure she said that right before you did. Now she wants a Frosty, and Shannon wants an Oreo marshmallow cyclone. And my gosh, it's just all about freaking ice cream all of a sudden. We're going to turn it into glizzies. Now we're going to talk about hot dogs.
Kathy probably still has mint chocolate chip that I left there in her freezer. Because we both bought like quarts of it that day. It's still there, I bet.
maybe she fed it to the turtle.
No.
The turtle's dirty.
It better not be. That turtle better not be dirty. I haven't heard
Turtles
any
could like
reports
ice cream.
about
You
the
don't
turtle,
know.
but
Turtles like ice cream, exactly. Especially turtle ice cream.
oh please.
Oh,
Are we talking about like dirty as in it needs a bath, or like dirty that's like hauling drugs across the country?
all the above.
Yeah, both. It's a
Yeah,
big
it's a
All
turtle.
very
right, cool.
slow turtle, but I mean, yeah, it
You would
takes a
never
while.
expect it.
No,
Very true. Yeah.
man, you lift the little door on the turtle shell, and there's all sorts of cocaine.
What is wrong with
Full
you?
kilo, right?
What? I'm waiting for my drugs. It's
No,
been days.
I'm waiting for my drugs. We can't talk about drugs. We're going to get banned from wherever we're putting this. Isn't this the first one that's
Drugs
going on
are
OnlyFans?
bad, okay?
OnlyFans.
Yeah, this is the first video, the first podcast that's actually going to go that we're putting on OnlyFans. So make sure you subscribe.
$10.
Drugs are bad, okay?
Exactly. Good grief. All right. So does anybody in the chat have any questions? Because, we're running out of time here and I can't handle this. No ice cream questions. No questions about glizzies. Focus on the book and why we're here to begin with. Damn it.
Kelly, where can we pick up your book at?
Good question.
Think about it.
You can pick up the book at Amazon.com right now. The paperback is out right now. The Kindle version comes out tomorrow. And if you're having trouble finding it, because again, I'm a brand spanking new author, even a search might not get you what you want. I just started a brand new Twitter account at Kelly Cosgrove 32. I have
Nice.
posted the link there. If you go to Twitter and type in at Kelly Cosgrove 32, and you see one with like 0 followers, yes, that is indeed me. Don't freak out. I just started this brand new Twitter account to try to market the book a little bit, but I did post the Amazon link there.
And it's
like I
at
said, you can get the
Kelly
paperback version
Cosgrove
today
32.
Yes.
at Kelly Cosgrove 32.
Excellent.
And like I said, you guys can get the paperback version today, and you can pick up the Kindle version tomorrow.
Excellent. We'll be sure to tag your account as well and put a link up to the page on Amazon for it as well.
That's not the only outlet.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It is not. It's also available on Barnes and Noble. I got the link up on my Twitter for that as well. I will say it is cheaper on Amazon.
Well, that's what they do.
And I don't know how they do it. They make everything cheaper, man. But if you're into ebooks, you can only get the ebook on Amazon. The ebook is exclusively on Kindle.
Oh, so if it is on Kindle, then your wife needs to get it.
Right.
Exactly. I told her, I was like, you need to finish whatever books you want to read tonight because you got an assignment tomorrow.
Exactly. And now Ace, since Kelly actually brought this up for you, what is the name of yours?
Halos of the Sun.
Of the Sun.
Of the Sun. It is on.
Where is yours available?
It's on Amazon.
Okay. We will not put a link up to yours.
No, you don't have to. It's only in e format, Kindle format at the moment. It is on Unlimited, I believe, at the moment as well. For another few days. 90 days that's set on Unlimited. And I'm like thinking.
I don't even know what the hell that means, but okay.
That's where you download it for free if you have a.
Oh, hell. I got to get on there then.
Yeah.
That's what I look for is free stuff.
Right. And I thought that was kind of cool. And then I'm thinking, 90 days?
That's 90 days of you not making any money.
Right. So, read it while you can for free on Amazon. Halos of the Sun.
Yeah. All right.
Well, if you don't have Amazon, what's it called?
Prime.
Whatever it was. Can't remember. Prime. No, not Prime. Jeez. You can still pay. It's only 99 cents for the ebook, and I think it's $10.99 for the paperback. So I try to make it as affordable as possible. because I'm a brand new author. I didn't want to turn any potential new fans away with too high of a price.
Yeah, but you got mouths.
Trying to play the long game here for the most
You
part.
got mouths to feed. Absolutely.
Man.
All right. So once
Listen,
again,
our
the name
neighbors
of the
got
book,
chickens. We'll just rob them.
the name of the book is A Ballad of Bison. Author is Kelly Cosgrove. Be sure to grab it. We're going to put the link up at the end of this video and in the description. We'll also throw it up on our social medias as well. So don't forget to go get it. Kelly, we want to thank you for joining us this week. I think this was a little last minute, but it worked out fantastic because we really want to see this succeed for you. So we do appreciate you joining us this week.
And I appreciate you guys having me. I know I'm no band member of Motley Crue or anything like that, but I still appreciate you guys taking the time to have me on to let me talk about something I'm really passionate about. So I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was our pleasure as well. Giving out our normal shout outs to Jason at Bad Company Barbecue. Check out Jason at Bad Company Barbecue for your smoking needs and all of his seasonings. Of course, we have to thank Kathy, of course, at Music and More Records for your musical needs. Get them from Kathy at Music and More Records. Her and Jason are both available on all of your social medias. Be sure to check them out. You can go to our social media, and I'm pretty sure we've got them linked up somewhere on there. So be sure to check them out. Yeah, other than that, if you want to reach out to us, we are available at theweeklypoorpodcast@gmail.com. And you can email Ace straight by going to ace at readmydamnbook.com. And yeah, so Ace, what do you have to say?
Read my damn book.
That's what I thought. And I should have just ended it at that.
And if you don't, go pick up Kelly Cosgrove's book. It's a good book. Check it out.
Yep, one more time. It's right there. It's called A Ballad of Bison. If you're watching this, you see it. If you're listening to it, you don't see it, but it's the cover of the book, A Ballad of Bison by Kelly Cosgrove. I do have one last question.
What's that?
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
Why do you guys look so much alike?